I'm Clara, 29, and I used to think the worst part of growing up in a small town outside Manchester was how quietly people gave up on their dreams. But it turns out, worse than giving up on your own dreams is watching someone you trusted tear them apart just for sport. My older sister Lydia was always the star. She got top marks in school, played cello in the youth orchestra, did a gap year volunteering in Italy, then walked straight into a corporate finance job in London like it was nothing. She got married at 26 to a guy named Marcus, who worked in insurance. They bought a flat, had a dog, hosted garden parties. It was the kind of life my parents loved because it was tidy, predictable, and stable. I wasn't like her. I never wanted a neat life. Since I was 10, I've wanted to act, not in movies or on TV, but on stage. Theater, real theater. West End, eventually. I worked all sorts of odd jobs, retail, babysitting, bartending, just to save up enough to apply to one of the best acting conservatories in London. It wasn't just some course. It was competitive, expensive, and intense. But when I got in, it felt like everything I had sacrificed was finally leading somewhere. I turned down a full-time admin job that would have meant security and stability to take the conservatory offer. My parents didn't fight me on it, but they didn't celebrate either. They just warned me to be realistic. Lydia told me she could help. She said Marcus had a friend who worked in theater management and could offer advice, or even a small opportunity. She arranged a dinner for all of us to meet him. I showed up dressed like it was a professional dinner, blazer, portfolio in my bag, everything ready. It was at a restaurant that was way out of my price range, so I'd barely eaten all day. I wanted to make an impression, not seem like a charity case. When I got there, the man she introduced me to wasn't who I expected. His name was Owen. He seemed confused when I brought up theater, but I tried to steer the conversation anyway, thinking maybe it was just an awkward start. I handed him my resume and mentioned my showcase reel. That's when it happened. He looked at the paper, looked at Lydia, and started laughing. Marcus joined in. Then Lydia did too. Turns out, Owen didn't work in theater at all. He was an accountant at Marcus's office. The whole thing was a setup. A prank. Lydia said it was just meant to lighten the mood, and Owen claimed he thought I was in on it. I wasn't. I excused myself to the bathroom and didn't come back. I sat in a coffee shop nearby for 2 hours trying to figure out what had just happened. Then I blocked Lydia and Marcus from my phone and messaged my parents, telling them everything. They said it was probably a joke that went too far and I should focus on school. That's all they had to say. At the conservatory, we had strict expectations, real-world engagement, documented placements, and active involvement in the industry. That dinner had been my shot that month, the one I had counted on for a placement check-in. When I couldn't prove what had happened or why the meeting never panned out, my advisor marked it as a no-show. I was placed on probation. I scrambled to find something else, sent dozens of emails, made cold calls, volunteered at open mics and fringe shows. Nothing counted. I couldn't meet the requirements in time. I dropped out 2 months later. Lydia never brought it up again. Not once. No apology, no message, not even a passive-aggressive hope things are going well. I moved back home, picked up part-time work, started from scratch again. But something in me shifted that year. I stopped hoping for her to make it right. 2 years passed. I hadn't heard from Lydia since the prank. Then, out of nowhere, she mailed me an invitation to her 3rd wedding anniversary party. A glossy card with a gold trim, names embossed across the front like they were royalty. Marcus and Lydia, celebrating love. Drinks and dancing in their garden with catered food, live music, and all the people who'd always looked down on me. I held the invite in my hand for a long time. Not because I was deciding whether to go, I wasn't, but because it reminded me that she